Hi, this is Rob with FOAS. Today I'm going to give you a quick overview of the Service Advisor role of the Fixed Operations Accelerator software. Upon successful login, FOAS will present to you your route sheet. The route sheet is an overview of everything that you as a Service Advisor have going for the day. At a glance, it looks a little intimidating, but when you break it down, everything's color coordinated and driven by status, so it's not too difficult. Since everything is status driven, I want to go over that with you first. So in this example on this route sheet, the first status is parts requested. This means that the technician assigned to the job has requested price and availability on a part, but he hasn't received it just yet. The next one is waiting on authorization. This means that the technician and the parts department have done their job, but so far you have not gotten approval from the customer and let them know that. Waiting on parts means simply that the parts are ordered, but they're just not here yet. Working means that the technician is actively working on the vehicle. Approved means you approve the work, and as of yet, the technician has not begun working on it. Parts pulled means that the part is laying on the counter, just letting everybody know that the part is available. And completed means the technician has marked it finished and it's ready to go. And at the end of the day, you'll just mark that off of your route sheet. On the left side of your route sheet, I want to bring a few icons to your attention. The one over on the left, these are little stopwatches, and they indicate that the customer is actually in the dealership waiting. As you created the inspection, if you chose waiting, then the route sheet will populate these stopwatch icons on the far left row there. The next one over is for a rental vehicle. So when you generated the work order, if you said rental yes, then that lets everybody know that that customer is in a rental. Parts department can see that, technicians, everybody involved. Next row over indicates that you opted that customer in for texting. So it's nice to know at a glance on your route sheet that you're able to send that customer a quick text message. And so I'll get back to more on that later. So moving along on the route sheet, more standard stuff you're used to seeing, I'm sure, is RO number, the number for the tag on the mirror, customer name, the model of the vehicle, mileage, technician, etc., etc. This row over here lets you know the moment that the vehicle was assigned to a given technician, both the date and the time. So sometimes that's really helpful to know. Of course, your advisor name, and then we're back to status. This row of icons here, this is actually estimate sheet booklets, and if an estimate is prepared, such as these that are waiting on authorization should be, if you click on it, it will open up the actual estimate that you can share with the customer. So just to kind of let you see, we'll do more on this later, but let you see what it looks like. This is what a basic estimate looks like. So you can see that's there. And let's go back to the route sheet. The next one over is the little hammer and screwdriver is the actual inspection itself. Often you will not even need to see that, but if you wanted to look at it and see what the technician is doing with it, then this is the actual inspection, and you can see where he's documented some tire measurements and tire pressures and brake measurements and things like that. So it gives you kind of a behind the scenes look at what's going on there. Go back to route sheet. And really that's it. This box here is used for marking it ended. So once you want to get rid of it, like this one here on the bottom that's completed, just click on that, mark ended, then that goes away for good. And so that's a brief overview of the route sheet itself. Next, let's look at creating a new inspection. So you as the service advisor will be responsible for generating the inspection in the beginning. So let's do one real quick. It's an easy process, and in this field here is where you start. You're either going to put in the last 8 or the full VIN depending on how your store is set up. So in this case we're going to use the last 8, and often lots of options will drop down, but in this particular case there's the one we need right there. So when you click on it, as you can see, it populated the name, all the phone numbers and address and the vehicle itself and everything, which of course saves a lot of time. Let's put in a fake hat number here and a fake repair order number. And we won't assign a tech to it just yet. The type, there's only two kinds, either a full inspection or a mini inspection. 90% of the time you'll do a full inspection. The only reason you would do a mini is if the car had been in within the past couple of weeks and you wanted to make it a quicker process, because when you use mini, it makes a smaller, shorter inspection sheet. So there's less information for the technician to have to pull out. The next one is a customer waiting or not. It's kind of self-explanatory. Damage to report. If you click yes on there, when you add the inspection, it'll open up a page where you can choose areas of the vehicle that may have damage on them and then write a little description about the damage. And when you save that, it timestamps it and lets everybody know that upon write-up you did see different things damaged on the vehicle. Sometimes that's helpful. So the year of the vehicle is already built in, and let's put in the miles. Let's call it 65,000 miles. Okay. One thing to note here is that the SMS means, it's an acronym for texting. And in this instance, this customer had already been opted in on a previous visit, but if they were not, this field would be blank. It'd be no numbers there, and it would default to no. So if you have a customer, when you're consulting with them, ask them what their best preferred method of communication would be. And if they want to be texted, then get that number and put it in this field and then change it to yes. And then when you hit add inspection, it will actually send them an opt-in request and they have to send either A for yes or B for no. So once everything's filled out, you simply click add inspection, and it should put that inspection to your route sheet. It'll be on the top in white. There he is, Mr. Johnny Doe. So from here, we're going to be waiting on the next step is the dispatcher, or you, depending on how your store's set up, will assign it to a technician. So if you were assigning it to a technician, you would do it right here. And for this demonstration, we'll say that you are. I know some stores will have a dispatcher that does that. Let's assign this to this technician. So that inspection just appeared on his route sheet, and he got an alert, both mobile and on web, to let him know that he has another job assigned to him. So the next thing we're going to do is wait for him to start doing things, which will cause it to change status on your route sheet. So this is the first thing you will notice. I've checked in, and it looks like on Mr. Doe's Volt that the technician has sent a request to the parts department, and so he's probably pretty far along on his inspection. So let's give it a little more time and check back in a few minutes. Okay, I'm back now. Looks like the technician has not sent the parts request in yet, but he did send us a note. Let's see what that has to say here. Okay, Rob, the Volt looks pretty good overall. The tires are looking worn on the edges. See images I sent also noted front brakes need replacing. Oh, he's just giving me a little bit of a preview here. And he sent these images showing the tire wear, which I agree, that needs some attention. I think he sent us a picture of the brakes. Looks like they're getting thin. Just show that to the customer. And this image as well. Yeah, it's got some pretty good edge wear there on the tires. So as soon as he sends me prices, I will call the customer. Okay, it's been a few minutes, and the next status change that you would expect to see is on this inspection for Johnny Doe, it's changed to quoted. That means that the parts department has actually quoted the parts prices, and you would think that you'd be ready to share that information with the customer now, but there's one last step. The technician will go in and review the parts request along with his labor quotes, put it all together, make sure it looks good, and then he will mark it to change it to waiting on authorization like these are. and then we as an advisor will get alerted and we'll know it's time for us to go sell the job. Just give them a few minutes to do that. Okay, I see I have an alert here now, and normally probably won't happen quite that quick, but for training purposes it'll work. Let me see what this alert is. Okay, it's letting me know that the inspection is finished and ready for my review. Let's get that message to go away there. Now let's go into, if we look on our route sheet, it should be red now. There it is. Let's go into the estimate. Since everything's ready for us now, we have a little bit of work to do. We need to assign labor rates to this, and if you're like most stores, the labor rate for tires is probably going to be pretty low. Just a rough estimate there. Same thing with brakes, probably more of a menu pricing type of thing. And turn signal bulb will be at probably a lower rate as well. So just for demonstration purposes, we'll go with that. So now you can see your estimate is complete. Over here you've got, right for now it's just in the blue column, it's not approved. So it'll stay undeclined until it's actually been approved. So let's talk to the customer, see what they want to do, and let's pretend they wanted to do the tires and they want to do the brakes. Let's go ahead and do that bulb as well. So now save. And as I showed you before, we can use these images as a visual aid for selling the job. If they're at your computer, you can simply click on it and it'll show them a nice big image of it. If they're opted in for texting, then it's as easy as dragging this into here and then clicking customer and send, and their cell phone will give them an alert and it'll be the image that we're trying to show them, and you can narrate it with a quick message like, these are your brakes, here's how much it'll be, things like that. So let's go back to route sheet. And you see here now, it's wait on authorization. Let's officially approve it. Okay, we approved everything. Now we have to send the estimate approval. This lets both the parts department and the technician know simultaneously that the work is approved. They'll begin pulling parts and the technician can begin work, and we'll go from there. So back to the route sheet. Now that I've given you a pretty good overview of the route sheet and how to create an inspection and then what to do once the technician has sent it to you for approval, and how to manage images and things such as that, I want to show you a feature that I think is helpful: event history. For an advisor, at times you may need to look back at the timeline of what was done on a particular inspection. So go to event history on your tab on the top. Put in the RO number or the date range if you wanted to see all of them, but if you know the RO number you want to inquire about, this particular one we've been doing, 087-654, this is on the Volt. Search. This gives us a timeline of everything that happened about this vehicle. This is when the inspection was created, and this is when the parts request was sent by the technician. This is when notes were added. This is when the parts department actually quoted the parts, and the technician did his final inspection finishing here, which let us know it was time to approve it. Then we approved it as an advisor, sent that to the technician, and now the technician has marked it work, so now it's gone to work underway. So if you look back now on my service advisor route sheet, you'll see that Johnny Doe with the Volt is back in working status. So we're just going to wait now for the technician to finish the work. Then he'll mark it completed, and if the customer's opted in, we can send them a quick text message to let them know that the work is completed and schedule a time to pick it up. So really that's it for the core functions of it. I don't want to bore you or make this video super duper long, so there's a lot of other things it'll do, but we'll be training you and go over that with you. Appreciate your time, and thanks for using our product.